The Buddha taught that understanding is more important than believing, and that enlightenment doesn't come in the form of grace from a divine power, but as a result of man's own efforts to understand the teaching. Here the monks are performing a ceremony for a couple who've recently been married. The groom was once a monk himself. There's no dishonor in having disrobed, since Buddhists accept that all states are subject to change. Buddhist ceremonies aren't considered as sacred, merely as a means of focusing the mind, and they don't always have to be conducted with solemnity. At the end of the ceremony, they tie a thread as a gesture of good luck. Even the cat benefits from the ritual sprinkling.
When I was asked to come to England, people would say, are you going to wear those robes? They'll only repel people. People will think you're some kind of hippie or freak, and that it will not help Buddhism at all. You should dress for the particular cultural setting you're going to. And then we reflected on this for a while, and we thought that yet this is only a matter of opinion. It has to be tried first, because symbolically these robes have a tremendous amount of value, and the color, the shaven head, and all these are symbolic of those who leave the home life to the homeless life. Like shaving the head is a way of saying I'm giving up the worldly life, because hair can be a great sign of vanity and attraction. But we're not here to criticize or to fault find with the society, but to show by our own example a way that is possible to live in this society without being caught in the foolishness of it.
The main problem when one religion tries to understand another is the lack of a common vocabulary. This is what the local clergymen hoped to find. They showed the monks around a former Christian priory, which seemed a suitable setting for a metaphysical discussion.
What I'm worried about is that we don't seem to have a word which we can both use to describe what we're seeking. If I'm seeking ultimate truth, and if the abbot and Buddhist monks are seeking the ultimate truth, and if we accept that the ultimate truth cannot alter or be anything different, then there must be some way in which we can communicate with each other. The world will separate us, right? He's a Buddhist, I'm a Christian. But intrinsically, basically, in what I'm doing, I feel that there is as much between you and me as there is between any other worshipping and sincere and devout Christian. So that I can get anyway.
Local clergymen like the Reverend Christopher Boxley feel they personally can find a meeting point. But for the Church of England as a whole, does the presence of Buddhism in any way pose a threat? It's early days yet to see how Sussex will take to Buddhism. But it doesn't seem likely that familiar rituals will be abandoned in favour of Sunday afternoons in the lotus position. By comparison with the active pursuits of rural Sussex, Buddhist meditation might seem a rather passive and therefore unrewarding pastime. The monks don't condemn the active life, but their hope is to demonstrate to their neighbours that the most effective actions come from a still mind, and that the path to the still mind is meditation. The Buddha said, when a man attains wisdom through the teaching, he becomes serene and at peace, like a lake which is deep, clear, and still.
All this can never be fully understood if all we do is talk about it. Just as we can never know whether an apple tastes sweet or sour, unless we actually taste it for ourselves. The ultimate truth is like the flavor of an apple, which you can't see with the eye or hear with the ear, The only way to experience it is to put the teaching into practice. Once you've tasted it, you'll no longer be in any doubt about its flavor, and you won't have to ask anyone else. The problem will be solved.
ปัญหามันจบที่ตรงนั้นเอง